Dale here, Scrapyard Rescue. Welcome back to another episode. And yeah, I know it's been a while. It's been like over a month since I put out a video, but been having problems with stuff and just everything. I think on the last videos I did, I was redoing that engine again over on that other Fairlane I got over there. Well, that's all rebuilt, and it's 100% rebuilt now because I put in a reground crank. It's got all new bearings, it's got all brand new heads, it's got all that kind of stuff. So it's ready to go back in. But my neighbor has been gone for over a month now. I don't know when he's coming back. He keeps saying he's going to be home this week, and he doesn't show up, and then I'll be home next week and he doesn't show up, and then he'll be home next week and he doesn't show up. And I don't have any way to put the engine in the car without him helping me. He's got a tractor that we just plunk it in. We're getting really good at it now because we've done it like 3 times. And he just, we hook it up to the bucket on his tractor. He just drives right up. And these Ford engines are really nice because they just sit straight down in there and it's done. It's just done that quick. But I don't know when he's coming home. He said he was going to be home the middle of last week, and it's Sunday and he's still not here. So I don't know. But anyways, then with this car, I don't know if how many of you guys do the on like say the Facebook car forums and stuff like that. There's a bunch of these Fairlane forums on there that I look at and comment and ask questions, things like that all the time on them. Well, I've been working. This thing's developed a problem a while back. When I first got it running and was driving it around, it was everything was all nice on it, and I had a points distributor in it. So, I was thinking I want to take this out on the road and go for some road trips with it and stuff. And I started thinking about, well, I had a couple guys say, make sure you bring an extra set of points and condenser with, because they're probably going to fail somewhere. So I thought, yeah, that's right. Well, then I started thinking about putting one of those HEI ignitions in it because they're not really expensive. I think I paid $90 for the one I got. And I thought, well, it's all electronic. There's nothing, there are no points. I don't have to worry about it. I'll just plop it in. So I bought one. I put it in. It didn't plop in. It was an absolute nightmare trying to get that thing to seat down in where it was supposed to go. I finally gave up and just put it in wherever it dropped in. I didn't care about the timing, the wiring, nothing anymore. I just put it in, and then that was where my top dead, or my number 1 cylinder for the layout was. I just started on that one and then just put it up. Well, it worked fine. Ran it around. I thought, wow, this is great. Works good. Car ran great. Started up, ran, up and down the road, no problems. Well, the first road trip I took it on, I went about 200, little over 200 miles, and I got way up north here in Oregon, and as soon as I got into town and had to start stopping, the thing would stall. So it'd start right back up, no problem. Put it in gear, and it might go. And then the next time I stop, it stalled. So it stalled about 4 or 5 times before I got back out of town and got back out on the highway, and then it ran fine. Well, it's progressively got worse and worse and worse and worse until the other day I took it out. I thought I had done something, and I don't even remember what I did because I've done so many things to try to get it fixed. I can't even remember what I did. So I get home, it stalled twice coming home. I get up in the driveway and I get about right over there in the driveway and it stalls. Well, I I started it and tried to move it the rest of the way up the driveway about 5 times and it stalled every time. So finally I got pissed off, just left it there. And I noticed that when the engine got hot is when it would stall. Because if I started it up here and left and got out and got on the highway and went someplace, it was fine. It was stopping and turning around and coming back, and then that's when the trouble started. So I just said this, okay, I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's the ignition. So I dug around and I've got 2 of these old original Ford distributors. Well, actually I got 3. So anyways, I pulled out the HEI ignition, tossed that up on the bench, and I went and dug these out of my box. You can see this one, this is what they look like, pretty grody. I had one for each. One came off of this motor originally. Another one came off the Fairlane motor that was in that originally, and another one was on this second motor I got for that Fairlane originally. So I have 3 of these points distributors. So I cleaned the one up really good, made sure it was all clean, everything was nice, put it in. Boy, it just plopped right in like it's supposed to. It even had the original spark plug wires that were on it. And these are factory wires. They're really cool because they're numbered. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then they have, and then stamped on them too. It says radio suppressor wires. So I thought that was pretty cool. But they're all numbered. So I started putting the wires on, and they're so old that they have permanent bends in them. They're not flexible. These wires are stiff. Well, every single one lined up perfect with the cylinder it was supposed to be on, which I thought was really nice. But one of them wasn't a very good wire, and I had to substitute out a wire, and I don't like that. The end of it's not too good on it and stuff. But so anyways, what we're gonna do today is I just took my 100-mile round trip to the parts store, and I went to Napa. I got a set of plug wires for it. 48 bucks, I think they were. 44 bucks. Guaranteed for life, so that's pretty good. Premium sparkle plug wires. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna change the wires. I noticed it was missing just a little bit, and I'm wondering if it's that bad wire, because it's bad right up where it's close to the cylinder down there. So I'm wondering if it's arcing a little bit. When I was timing it, I did touch something up here on the distributor, and I could feel a little buzz. I didn't get zapped, but I could feel a little, a little something there. So I'm going to try the wires, and I did get this thing going. I drove it yesterday and it seemed to work fine. But the funny thing was, what made me think about that HEI being bad was when I would try to time the car with that in, every time the strobe would flash on my timing light, the mark I had on the down there on the counterweight, it would be in a different spot. Like one time it would flash when the thing was retarded, one time it would flash when it was way advanced, and then maybe after 3 or 4 times it might flash right on the white mark where I could see it. And I just thought that my timing light was just a piece of shit, because it's a Chinese piece of shit. So, and then I put a new tack in here the other day, and when I would start it up, the needle would bounce back and forth and up and down and around, and I'd take it out on the road to drive it, and it wouldn't hold steady. It would go, it would just bounce, 600 degrees on the thing. The needle was just going back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. I thought, well, you know, the other one I had didn't do that. So once I got this in, I hooked up my timing light, went to time it, and the timing light worked perfect, just like it's supposed to. I pulled the trigger. Every time it flashed, it would be on there. I adjusted the timing till I got it spot on, tightened it down, and every time I would check it with that timing light, it was spot on where it was supposed to be. No more jumping around. And I went, huh, that's kind of strange. Well, then I went in and looked at the tack. And, well, holy shit. The tack needle is just where it is. It's not going like this and bouncing. I had it, the idle set at like 1,000 RPMs. The needle was pegged on 1,000 RPMs. It didn't move. I'd rev it up, it would go up, drop back down. So I cranked her down to 800 RPMs, and the needle is just sitting there. So I've done it a couple times, and it's perfect. So it was at ignition. So, you know, just in case anybody wants a HEI ignition, I got one for sale if you want it cheap. But anyways, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and start putting these new wires on, and then we will, once I get that done, we'll, maybe we'll take it out for a ride, see what everybody thinks. So, these look like pretty nice wires. Oh. They're supposed to be for this engine too, so I sure as hell hope they fit. Let's see, what do we got here? Alright, those two are the same. Here's a little shorty. Oh, that's the coil. Alright, what do we got here? Oh, that one's the same. No, they all look like they're the same. Huh. Oh, I guess there's some of them are a little bit different. Okay, here's these three seem to be longer. These are all the same. What do we got here? And here's a real long one. Where is it? This one. And then these. So, let's start with, where's the longest one? Alright, let's try this one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, pretty cool. Oh, radio resistant. This is number 8. Boy, that's pretty, I like that. They're really not in bad shape with wires. I don't know. Okay, what do we got here? That one looks like it'll work. Oh yeah, fit good down on that cap just right. Okay. Well, that works. So let's go with this one. Come on. What do we got here? Number 7. would have saved those. Those are pretty cool wires. Somebody somewhere might want them for you know, like a, you know, full-on restoration where they're going to need something like that, you know. All right, got those. Get this coil wire out of the way. Now, where's number 1? All right, here's number 1. Yeah, see, this wire I think was causing that missing, because it's a piece of crap. This one's junk. So, what do we got here? All right, let's put that. Yeah, let's go. Well, let's go under here, around this way. There we go. And then down here, get this out of the way. All right. Now what am I doing? What's this one? So what's really even cool on it is, like the back ones, they had an else, you know, the angled boot on it, you know, for those back things. The rest of them are straight in, so. Let's see, what do we have here? Where's this one? That one's there. I'm wondering. I think I'm going to change this one to a longer one. Oh, boy. Okay, that'll work better doing that. And then we'll put this one here. Where'd it go? Yeah, see how the end is on that? That's for that back hole. That's pretty nice. I like that. It's amazing how stuff works back in the old days. The other thing on this car too. Okay, this one, let me pull that back off, go underneath here. I'm gonna have to do some tying up on some of these, but that's okay. I got some things to hook them up. Here's another cool thing. This coil I have on here is the original Ford coil from one of these engines. So they're 65 or 64, whichever one I took it off of. The distributor that's on that engine sitting out there ready to go in is a points one off of it. And it's got the original Ford coils, these yellow top or orange top, whatever you call them. I've tested them both, and they work fine. 1965, and they still work today. I've gone through I went through 3 coils on this car before I put that HEI ignition in that didn't need a coil. And the only one I found that was any good was the one that was, I forget the brand name, but they're blue, and they're made in Mexico. And apparently the stuff made in Mexico is still pretty decent, not like the Chinese shit. I got just you know, crap everywhere. So let's go ahead and get this on. Oh, there we go. Let me see. Turn that this way, maybe. Put it under here, and then put it in here. Yeah, I gotta figure out what to do. Okay, now that's gotta move. Does anybody know a supplier for that little fitting that the vacuum line goes onto on here? What I think I'm going to have to do on this, I'm not going to worry about it right now, but I'm going to pull it up and turn it 1 notch so I can get the vacuum out here a little bit better, where I can because this hose right now, I got the timing set on it, you know, I have it set on 9 degrees on it. Holly told me to, I had to give it a little bit more timing when I use that carburetor. So it's set on 9 degrees, but the fitting is right up against my radiator hose. So I think I'm not gonna do it right now, like I said, but I'm gonna pull the distributor, or actually I'll loosen it up, turn it out here, and then just move all the wires, you know, 1 peg over, and then that way I can have that vacuum hose out there. I tried to find fittings for it today, but the parts store didn't have them, and to get a new one of these, it's like, they were like $50, you know, and they have the nipple sticking out of them built in. But these are, you can't just put like a hose type, you know, a brass fitting in, and then stuff a hose on the end of it, because they have a little nipple inside there. It has to fit in, and, you know, to make a nice seal. You can't just stick something in there, apparently. So, all right, let's get these out of the way. I got to get some more bug juice. Okay, I'm going to be back here in a bit. Okay guys, we're ready for a startup. I forgot I had to go get the battery and put in it, and noticed the radiator was a bit low. Check the oil real quick. right on full. I've never checked that oil on that thing where it wasn't full. I've changed the oil, I don't know, I think probably 3 times. And I used the Rotella 2050. I did put a can of, or a bottle or whatever the hell of some kind of valve, or not, tappet cleaner thing in it one time. I was getting some smoke out of this tailpipe, and I put some of that stuff in. I forget what it was called. It was in a gray bottle. I poured it in, and it seemed to help. I think it would be something a guy would have to do maybe every 1,000 miles. This engine's going to come out of here eventually too. I've got the original engine from Fairlane number 2 is at the machine shop, still being rebuilt. What I should do, but I'm not going to, I should take that motor and put it in this car, and then take the motor that's at the machine shop, which is the original motor out of that car, and put it back into that car. Oh wait, I can't do that. Just thought of it. They're two different, basically two different motors. They're 64 and 65. That's where I got screwed up really bad on that. I didn't realize that that was a transition year, where they went from, on the automatic transmissions, they went from the 5-bolt transmission that was in a 64, which that motor is a 64, and when I put it in the first time, I couldn't get the transmission bolted up to it, and then I found out all that stuff. So then I had to go back to the guy and buy the transmission that came with the motor, and then it turned out it wasn't any good, so then I had to go have it rebuilt. So now I got a rebuilt engine, a rebuilt transmission, all that stuff. So I'm just going to put it in that car and forget about it. And then that brand, I don't know, maybe I'll put that brand new one in here. It depends on how that one runs. If that motor runs really good in the transmission, all that's fine. I'll just leave it. But you know, I'm gonna end up with a brand new 289, 100% rebuilt motor from top to bottom, everything new in it, and you know, the 6-bolt transmission that goes with it sitting around, and I don't know what to do with it. But let's start this up and see how it goes with the new wires. Starts right up. Ain't that fan squeal? I've used about a half a freaking can of belt dressing on these two cars. The other one did it too. Brand new belts. And you can see what's wrong with them. They're not wide enough. They're sitting down in the pulley ways. They're not flush with the pulley, the outside of it. So I don't know where you can get good belts. Let's see what the RPMs are. RPM. Well, let's go ahead and take it for a spin, see what happens. All right, let's go for a cruise. I'm sorry I can't put the camera up into the so you can see, because I don't have a thing in here. I've been trying to find something, you know, where I can put my cameras up on the windshield, and, you know, I have to get like a different one for every car, apparently, which kind of sucks. Well, went into reverse and it didn't stall. You're probably going to hear some squeaking. Squeaking. That's coming from that driver's side coil spring. The plastic cap that sits up on top of it and fits up into the front end up there is junk, and you can't get new ones. I don't know, you just have to find a car that hopefully you can, you know, strip crap out, and, you know, they're plastic, so they're not going to be any good. I don't know. If I'd have realized that was going to squeak like that when I had that front end apart, I'd have put something up there. You know, anything would work. Hell, if you cut a piece of felt or something and laid up on top of the spring when you put it back in would quiet that. But I damn sure ain't taking the coil spring back out of that. I practically killed myself with doing that. I wanted to really tear this car apart and do it, and, well, boy, taking that coil spring out was something. Putting it back was even worse, because you can't find a good coil spring compressor that's strong enough to you know, wrench them freaking springs back up. They're tough, believe me. It's not squeaking too bad today. Sometimes I take some WD-40 and with the nozzle on it and squirt the hell out of it up there, and that helps for a little while. And then I even tried squirting a bunch of canola oil up in there. And that didn't really do too good, but I think it was mainly because I couldn't really get a good spray up in there. Some kind of a good lubricant, if you could get it on a longer nozzle, so you could get like down from underneath and then push the nozzle way up and then blast all around there. That'd probably work pretty good. Well, so far it's running great. The battery's charging. Temperature's at about 150 degrees. Oil pressure's sitting at right about upper 30s, or maybe close to about 40, so, which is good. It stays up there when I'm driving. If I'm out on the highway going, you know, 60, it stays. It'll hold 30 pounds of oil pressure. When I started cold, it runs about 50. But when you let the the RPMs drop down, like driving on this road when it gets hot, it'll drop down to like around 25. That's because I didn't change the main bearings in this. I did a bearing roll. Basically, I put all new rod bearings on it, and I should have pulled the crank and put the new bearings on and everything. The heads on this engine need to be reworked too. What I did with it when I tore it apart, I pulled the heads off. I took them apart and I made my own hot tank. I got one of them big propane burners and a thing for it, and a wash tub, and I put them in there, and I poured a bunch of water in there, and I dumped in a half a gallon of muriatic acid, and then oh boy, did they come out clean. They came out just as clean as you take them in and have them hot tanked. That hot tank I did worked really good. I cleaned a whole bunch of stuff doing that with it, and I really liked it. The trouble was that, alright, hang on, here we go. Washboard time. That muriatic acid ate that frickin' wash tub up though too. I used it, I don't know, 5 or 6 times, and then one day I was cooking something in it, and the whole bottom just fell out of it. Landed in the propane flame, big burst of flame, and then everything went out, and that was the end of that. So I never did it again. This so far what we're going on here is like been less than a mile. This is my road I have to come in on. It's a horrible road. I hate it. I hate driving my cars down on here. They rattle and bang and clunk, and you know, it's wondering there's more stuff not squeaking on them or broke right off or something, you know. But hey, that's what we pay our taxes for, you know, our gas tax, road tax, all that stuff. It's so they don't do maintenance. They don't maintain, Klamath County, Oregon, they don't maintain any roads that aren't paved. You live off on a dirt road, it's your full responsibility to figure out how you get going. And this is a county road. They don't plow it, they don't grade it, they don't fix it, they don't do shit. They could care less if you get stuck down in here. Alright, blacktop. Blacktop. Disconnected. I have an oil pressure gauge that goes in there. The wires it's just sitting up there, you know, in the little harness for it. So why does that go on? I know what I was going to ask you guys, and if anybody knows, you know, leave a comment down there on these Cruise-O-Matic transmissions with the green dot on them in second gear. It's like, what is the green dot for? What is that supposed to mean? Let's get on this baby. There we go. Yeah, we're doing 65 and I'm at 3,300 RPM. But anyways, the green dot. Someone I read somewhere commented on something and said that I didn't quite understand what it was, but you would start out with the green dot, which is second. There's low, the green dot, which is second, and then dry, which is, third. And they explain that you take off in the green dot, get going, shift it up into third, and then once you get it into third, and then they said then you drop it back down into the green dot, and I kind of thought he was trying to say that then that was like overdrive or something. I didn't understand what the theory was, because I've tried it, and just when we left now, I took off in second, shifted it into third, but if I dropped it right back down now into the green dot, it's going to slam down into second gear. It's not going into no freaking overdrive. So I don't know what that is. Why did they put that green dot on there? Did most people drive around in second? Back in the 60s? I guess maybe if you lived in a city, and you were just driving in 25, 30 mile an hour, maybe 40 or something, you could drive in second. But what would be the point? Your engine's going to rev higher, you're going to burn more fuel, so I don't know what the hell it is. Let me know if anybody knows what that's actually supposed to mean. Well, I tell you guys, this thing's running a lot sending unit in it. The float kind of fluctuates, so it works, but it doesn't really work accurate. Like if I fill it up, it'll show it'll be on a half a tank, but then as I go down the road, pretty soon it'll be up on my full tank, and then the next day you drive it, it might be on a quarter of a tank. So it's just kind of weird. Those things ain't cheap either now. I think they're about $90 for a sending unit. I had this tank all done though when I put it in. There's a guy in town that radiator shop, and he boiled it all out, cleaned it so it's spotless inside. It had some leaks in it. He repaired all the leaks and tested it, and yeah, it was nice. It's like getting a brand new tank back. He charged me $150 is all, where a new tank they're pushing close to $300 for one now. So, if your tank isn't too bad, it's, may pay off to get it clean. Except, I don't know, I'm sure it depends on different places. I live about 45 miles outside of Klamath Falls, Oregon, and Klamath Falls isn't a very big city, and most of the older car stuff has all gone away. There's one guy that still has a machine shop, but he'll only do heads. He won't do anything else. He doesn't want any employees anymore. Got rid of everybody, and he just rebuilds heads, and he's like a year behind. There's a starter alternator rebuild place in town, an old school one, and the young guy, the guy that owns it now is 60, might be 66. He told me last year he turned 65 and he wants to retire, and he still has the guy that he bought it from all the years ago. The guy's in his 80s, and he still comes in and works and rebuilds starters and alternators and stuff. It's pretty cool. But I'm afraid if they sell the place, what's going to happen is somebody's going to come in and they're not going to do old school work anymore. They're just going to want to sell you new starters and alternators and shit. So that place will be gone. Well, we're at the turnaround place for test driving, and it didn't stall. Ooh, gotta get up over that bump. Yeah. Oh, come on, turn. There we go. All right. Well, test number 1 went through. That's usually where it would stall out on me. I got a few more things to do on this car before it's finished, but not finished. I got to get the door seals put on here on the front doors. I got to put the carpet down yet, and I got to get the seats reupholstered, at least the front seat. The back seat's not too bad, and nobody sits back there, so I don't care. I just got an Indian blanket over it, and it looks fine. And like I said, nobody sits back there, so I just want to get the front seat done, because where my ass is right now, there's a big hole in it, and I got a bunch of towels underneath this seat cover, to hold it up. And well, it needs a windshield, obviously. I found a windshield at a glass company. I didn't find it, my friend found it. He had a new windshield put in his Bronco, and he was telling me how much it cost, and I told him, I said, wow, that's pretty cheap. I said, I wish I could find $400. I said, call the guy up and tell him it's sold. I'll buy it. And then I asked him how much he wanted to install it. Well, that was a different story. He wants $400 to install it. When I called the glass shop in Klamath Falls and asked them what they charged to install a windshield, and they told me $250. So that would be $450 to have a brand new windshield installed, which I think that's probably a pretty good deal. So I'm working on getting that taken care of. And this car needs some body work. It's got dings and dents and bumps all around it. The trouble is I can't do body work. It just does not agree with me. I've tried it, and all I do is make everything look worse. I just don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't think I have the patience to do it. And it's just tedious and boring. It never works out good. So I don't know what I'm going to do. The other car, the reason I'm fixing up that other car so much is because the body is almost perfect on it. There's like one dent in the driver's side, actually the passenger side door, there's a dent in it, and there's a couple of like little divots, just a couple places, like a door ding and something like that, which I think I could fix that one, because the dent in the passenger doors is right on that flat piece of the door right below the trim, so it's a flat surface which I could just clean up and just run some mud. I tried looking at it before I put the door panels in to see if I could get something through to pound the dent down from the inside, and I would have to take all the crap out of the door, and I'm not doing that. Maybe I could get one of them pullers where you drill a little hole in it, a hammer slide, and get it pulled out, and then just body fill it up. And I think I can sand a flat spot flat. I would hope I could, but I want to get it all real nice, and then I think I'm going to take it to Mako and have Mako shoot it. My friend's, his cars, he has Mako paint them, and I was looking at his Pinto at a car show here a while back, and it's a metal flake kind of root beer brown color that they did, and man, does it look nice. I mean, it's metal flake, and they did a you know, a damn good offer, and the guy had the money because I actually know the guy. My other Fairlane I got from that guy, so, but he wanted that Pinto, and I couldn't part with it. I just couldn't do it, even though I really could have used the money to pay off some of the bills for all this other stuff, but I couldn't let it go. I'm not selling that car. That car is so much fun to drive. It doesn't go very fast. Well, it probably would, but you're running on the highway about 55 or 60, and that's all I push it. I'm thinking about my friend that has his Pinto. He put a 5-speed in his, and he said it really helped. And then he's found a 5-speed that'll fit in my Pinto. That is supposed to be a direct bolt-in replacement. Everything is supposed to fit right in with all the stuff that's on the Pinto. Bolt right up to the engine. Uses the same clutch. Even uses the same drive shaft and everything. The only thing different on it is the speedometer cable comes out of like the passenger side of the tunnel instead of the driver's side of the tunnel. So you have to drill a hole there and then run your speedo cable up through there and over to hook it, which, you know, wouldn't be any problem. I wouldn't care about that. But it's supposed to be a bolt-in replacement. But then I told my friend, I said, yeah, that engine and transmission I got for that other car that I got several $1,000s into now was supposed to run good when we took it out. Runs good. Like, yeah, well, maybe it did, but you left it lay in the field for 5 years, you know. Both of them. When I went back to get the transmission for that car, we had to go out in this field and dig the frickin' thing out of the weeds. It was just laying there in the dirt, half buried. Worked when we took it out. $800 later, I still don't know for sure if it works. Alright guys, well, we're back on the goat trail. So, we gotta roll the window down a little bit. Temperature gauge is still on 160. Battery's charging, 14 volts. See, now the oil pressure's dropped to 25. So, but that's alright. Now we can fiddle and diddle around here. We got one more test of the stalling. If it runs up my driveway when I get home and I can pull it up and park it and it's running fine, I'll think I'll have it whooped. I hope so. What are these guys doing? Oh, they got one of them big old dumb, I don't even know what you call them things. They're practically a car now. Them side-by-sides, 4-seater. I hate this road. I don't know if you can hear that on the camera, if you can hear that little clicking, that little rattling. I've been chasing that rattle for months and I cannot find what's rattling. Absolutely cannot find it. I've taken the dash out like 3 times looking for loose screws and stuff. I did find one over there one time and I thought, yes, I found it, and I got a nut on it, tightened it all up and everything, got in the car and drove it. It didn't make any difference. So, the other day, I think it was yesterday, the day before, I was under there feeling around and it felt like the whole heater box was moving a little bit. So I climbed out and tightened up the bolts that hold it into the firewall and thought, okay, the bolts were a little loose, so maybe that's it. just falls apart. You just touch anything wrong and it breaks. Oh, that's another thing, as long as I'm thinking about it, is if anybody knows anybody that's got a 65 Fairlane, this right hand half of the dash part, and it needs to be one for a radio, because I have a radio in this car. If they've got one, a good one, a decent one, that's not broken, or see, the guy smoked in this one, and all this is melted from his cigarettes, and it's cracked where the screws go, just stuff like that. If I could find one of those fairly reasonable, you know, I might be interested in buying it from the guy, if it, like I said, if it's reasonable price. And I want the plastic that goes behind it too, though, not just the outer cover. So that's something, if any of you guys watching this have somebody that has a Fairlane. House back there we just went by burned down a few months ago. They're just getting everything all back together now. And as I was coming around the corner out there, just when we did, I noticed off over there, the horizon, a big plume of black smoke coming up. I noticed something over there the other day too, and then it went away, so I'm wondering if they're doing prescribed burns or something over in that area. They usually let everybody know so they people don't see the smoke and then freak out and then flood you know, the hotline to the Forest Service about a forest fire, you know, which, you know, makes sense. All right, here we go. We got to go down here and jump this hill. So good. Yeah, I gotta find some. I've been looking for camera mount stuff so I can put a camera up in the windshield of my cars, but you know, I could find one real easy for this car, but then I can't use it in the Pinto because the Pinto doesn't have hardly any dash on them at all. They just got that little rubber thing on, or you know, plastic padded dash thing, and I don't want to put anything on there because that thing wasn't cheap to replace, and I don't want to ruin it. So this one I could do like I have the tack. I have a piece of that sticky foam stuff, you know, I could put there, and then I could stick a camera mount thing on it like that. But we'll have to see, because I'd like to do some, when I do some road trips now with these cars, I'd like to do some videos doing road trips, and you know, I know you probably guys just on this little trip here are probably pretty sick of looking at the side of my head here. And, well, guys, it came up the road here yesterday just fine. The other day it conked out right there 5 times. Let's see if we can swing it around and park it. Oh my goodness. One last test when I pull up here and stop. I'll be dipped. It's running perfect, 900 RPMs, smooth. Now that's what I'm talking about. So anyways, fellas, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. Hopefully on the next video I'll be putting the engine back in that car and get that thing buttoned up. I need to get that all buttoned up before winter. I want to get it down, well, I don't really need to get it down off the jacks for any reason. I'm not going to drive it. I need to have a drive shaft made for it. I need to get my trunk pan welded in, and I don't know when my friend's coming down to weld the trunk pan in, so I can't put the gas tank in and anything until we get that done, and I don't know when that's going to happen. So it might sit there for the winter up on the jacks. I do want to get the motor all in, done, hooked up, running, starting. I want to get it broke in, and then change the oil, get it filled with antifreeze, get it all set for winter, make sure the transmission is working. At least I can put it in gear and see if the output shaft is spinning, you know, one way or the other. Would be nice. Everything else is done on it. You know, everything is done. Basically, all I would need to do is get the drive shaft built once I get the tank and stuff in, and then I can start getting it out and test driving it and stuff. So that'll be nice. But that won't be till spring before it ever hits the road. If the motor works all good and everything, I might just finish up the interior, put the carpet in over the winter. Well, I probably won't do that either. I don't know. We'll do something. But I think I solved my problem. By God, I think it's fixed. So, I'm good with that. All right, before you guys click off the video, please hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. You know, leave comments, all that kind of stuff. Really will help my channel out. Hopefully I can do a couple more videos here shortly instead of a month apart. I do got a snowmobile I got from a guy I'm going to rebuild and have to play around with this winter. That might be something fun to do. So anyways, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the next video. And have a good day, folks. Thanks for watching.